What's up, guys? So today I'm going to do a segment called Draw Our Relationship, and Vic is going to do his section in a different video, so you get to see his view and my view, but his view is only going to be like 5 minutes long because he doesn't remember anything he did to even get my attention. So anyway, here we go. So let's start off with this. I'm in a sorority called Alpha Kappa Omicron, and he's in a fraternity called Alpha Kappa Omega, and our sorority and fraternity, they're brother-sister fraternity sorority. So I used to hang out with the brothers a lot, and they would talk about this guy named Vic and how, he's a super nice guy and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, he seems cool. Am I ever going to meet him? And they were like, probably not. He's really busy. And I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah. So I didn't really think much of it. And then at one of our events, he actually came over, and I was doing something at the time, but my grandbig, Matt, came up to me and said, oh, by the way, Vic's here if you want to go meet him. He's leaving now. I said, okay. So I ran over to the cars, and I saw him. I said, hi, my name's Eugenia. And he said, hi, my name's Vic. I was like, well, I don't want to keep you, so I guess I'll see you next time. And he was like, yep. I just said, all right, it was nice meeting you. And he says, nice meeting you. And then he left. I didn't actually see him for a while until like maybe a couple months later. I ran into him at our school at East Bay, and it was in front of the Music and Business building, and ran into him along with a whole bunch of other people in the fraternity and sorority, and we were just talking, and I was like, oh, he's a really cool guy. And then that was pretty much it. And then we went our separate ways, and again, I didn't see him again for maybe another month or so, because next time I saw him a couple months later, it was when I was hanging out with my grandbig again, Matt, and Matt and Vic are car guys. So I was hanging out with Matt, and we're going down, we're just driving, we're just grabbing stuff to eat, and towards the end of the day, Matt said, well, I don't really want to go home yet, so I should probably figure out something else to do. I said, well, I don't really want to go home yet either, so what do you want to do? And he said, do you want to hang out with Vic? I was like, oh, yeah, sure. He's a pretty cool guy, and I was kind of judging by the time that I had met him in front of Music and Business, and I actually had a real conversation with him. So I said, okay, yeah, sure. So he hands me his phone, and he tells me to call him. I said, okay. So I called him. I said, hey, you want to come hang out with us? This is Eugenia, by the way. And I wasn't sure if he even remembered me, but I guess he did. But I handed the phone back to Matt, and he told us to come to his house. And so when we were at his house, called him again to come outside, and he comes outside, and I'm in the passenger side, and the window's down, and he comes over, he does this weird little handshake. He goes, what's up? And I'm just like, what the heck? Who does that? In my head, I was just thinking all this. I was like, okay. So then he goes over to Matt's side and just says, what's up? And then he says, okay, well, before we do anything, I have to go pick up my cousin. And his cousin worked at Walmart. Cousin's name is Oliver. And so we go to Walmart and we go pick him up. And then I'm in Matt's car, and then he has his car. And Ollie gets in his car, and we go over to Redwood. And Redwood is a canyon. So we're going through all the twists and turns and stuff. And we get to the end of the canyon, and we're over by Merritt College, and there's a nice view over there. So we park the cars over there, and we go over there, and everybody gets out of the car, and me and Vic were talking, and we're walking, and he asked if I spoke Chinese, and I said, yeah, I speak Chinese, and I asked him if he spoke any Chinese. He said, yeah. I was like, no way. I didn't believe him at all. So I said, okay, well, say something. So he starts talking to me in Chinese. And it was really simple stuff, like we're talking about our pets and stuff in Chinese, and I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, you don't know too many black guys who can actually speak Chinese, or anybody in general, but he was black, so yeah. And then after that, he said, well, there's one more spot I want to take you guys to, and so we're driving, we're following him. He takes us to the marina. And the one thing that he said that really stuck in my head at the moment when we got to the marina was, this is where you take your dime piece. And I thought that was kind of funny, but this has nothing to do with anything at the time. But anyway, we end up leaving from there, and when we're walking back to the cars, I kind of hear him asking Matt something about me, but I'm not sure what he said. All I heard was Matt say, "Oh, she's cool," and I was okay. Well, didn't think much of it. And then so we go home, we go our separate ways. And maybe 2 weeks later, I go on Facebook, and one of my friends has a picture of the marina and tagged Vic in the picture too. So I was like, oh, okay, she knows him. And that same night, I had gone to dinner with her and my other friend to IHOP, and I had mentioned to her, I was like, hey, you know Vic? And she said, yeah. I said, well, he's a pretty cool guy. We should invite him to dinner with us. And she's like, yeah, sure. And I said, I don't have his number, so you text him. So she's texting him, and he's taking forever to reply back to her. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, okay. So then I end up saying, alright, give me his number, I'll text him. So I start texting him, and he's replying to me, like, right away. No hesitation at all. And I invite him to IHOP. And he says, oh yeah, sure, I'll be there in like 30 minutes. I said, okay, cool. 30 minutes goes by, and he's not there. So I text him again, and I say, so, you're not coming, are you? He goes, nope, I'm too busy with my game. He plays League of Legends. And I was like, alright, well then, next time then. And I'm over here like, you know, saying my goodbyes and stuff, I'll talk to you later, and he just keeps on texting me. So I was like, okay, well, he wants to talk, so I'm not gonna, if he wants to talk, I'll talk to him. I'm not gonna, like, reject him or anything. So I continue to text him, and eventually we get to the point where we texted till like 5 a.m. in the morning, and that happened for about a week. And at the end of the week, he asked me, he was like, so, you know, I'm not your big bro or anything, but if you were interested in someone, would you tell me? And I said, maybe. And he said, why maybe? And then I gave him the whole spiel of I'm a little shy and all this other stuff. And then I asked him if he would tell me if he was interested in someone. And he also gave me maybe and said the same thing, he's shy. So then he ended up telling me that he was interested in someone, and he said, I'm interested in someone that's in your organization, about your height, and gives me the whole spiel about, you know, what she's like. And I was like, okay, and in my head I'm thinking, okay, it's probably me, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. So then he asked me who I was interested in, and I gave him the same thing. I said, he's in your organization, he's about your height, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So from that point, we both kind of knew we were talking about each other, and that's when we started officially talking. So we were talking for about 3 weeks, and then 3 weeks later, he says, hey, I have a surprise for you. And I was like, okay. And so he says, so just meet me in my house tomorrow at this time. I only have a short period before I have to go to work. And I was like, okay, so I meet him at his house that day, and he says, okay, so this is kind of like a trust exercise, so you have to close your eyes. I was like, okay. And he says, no, you have to close your eyes for the whole entire ride there. And I was like, okay. So we get in the car, and I keep my eyes closed, and we're driving, and we get to the spot, and he says, okay, keep your eyes closed, because there's a short walk. So I keep my eyes closed, he gets me out of the car, and we're walking. He's leading me to wherever it is that we're going, and he leads me to the Japanese garden in Hayward. And there's a whole bunch of fish there, waterfalls, a lot of beautiful plants, flowers, and stuff. And he hands me a card that he had drawn and written on, and you know, wrote whatever it is. And he has a paragraph of, it was like a lovey-dovey paragraph, and then on the bottom of it, in Chinese, he writes, will you be my girlfriend? And I said yes, and then we've been together ever since. And that's it. So I'll see you guys next time.